Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, this is a first program in a series of simple Java programs actually to get you going. So let's do our first program about a factorial. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a public class called Factorial, F capital. According to naming conventions, that class name, first letter of a class name should be a capital. Okay. So and a file, if you have a file that should have a one public class. That's what you know. And now this is my factorial class. In it, what I will do is I will first create a main program in it, public static void main with the arguments as string type args. Okay, and here we go. This is our main program. This is our main function, and inside I will create some couple of integer type variables. One is the num. It will will take our number from the user and store it in the num, of which we have to calculate the factorial. Okay, and then I will say another number fact, in which I will create a factorial. I will calculate factorial and put it in a fact and display the fact, and the fact will be the factorial of a number. Now we have to get the number from the user. So to get the things from the keyboard, actually we have predefined classes in a Java that is actually defined in a sub package of Java package called util. There is a class called scanner. Okay, so we will use that scanner. I will create an object of that scanner class. Maybe I call it input IP is equals new. I'll give it a memory and call its default its constructor. In fact, that's not a default constructor. It is a constructor with the parameters, and the parameters which are given to the default constructor are actually system.in. That is default input of a system. And this is how I create a scanner class. And in a scanner class, I create an object of the scanner class IP, and in that I'm creating giving a memory with the new keyword. And the scanner here is a constructor defined in the scanner class, which takes the input of, like here we have given it system.in, means default input. That will be the keyboard, the default input device of a system. So I'm passing default input device to the scanner class. That means scanner class has all the code written to get your data from the keyboard. Okay. Now I can use the IP, that is the object of scanner class, to use the member functions of scanner class to take our data. That we will see very shortly. But scanner class, as I said, is in the java.util package. So it is not in my default package, it's a different package. So if we are talking about different package, so we need to import that so that we can use it in our current package. So I have to import java.util.star. Something util star means everything what is in a util, or I could have said import java.util.scanner, and .star means import everything, whatever, if anything is required. In fact, I require only scanner, so I could have written import java.util.scanner. Now whatever. Now I will use the IP to get the number from keyboard and put that into the num. So I'm gonna ask user system as capital because it is a class. Out is a object, it is a variable of print stream which is defined in the system, and it's a static type. That's why I'm calling it with the class name system. So out is a static reference variable, an object of print string defined in a system class. So really complicated but very simple. Out dot println, what I'm going to say is enter the number. Simple. I'm saying enter the number. Okay, and now I'm gonna get it using the IP. So how to get the input? I'm gonna say here the num is equal, that means put into the num, what else? IP dot next int, icat. So IP dot next int is a member function of a scanner class which is used to take an integer variable from the keyboard. Now next int is in the scanner class, so how to access that? Using an object. So we say ip.nextInt. Okay, simple thing as it is, because a nextInt is a member function in the scanner class. So using an object, we have to access that member function. That's why we use the objects. We create the objects for. Now what it does is it will take a one integer variable and put it into the num. Very simple. Fine. And now I'm going to use some if construct to see that maybe my num is less than or equal to 0. If the user has inputted something which is less than or equal to 0, I will say then system.out.println, what else? That factorial is not defined. Because for factorial, I need something which is greater than 0 or like that. Okay. Else, and I'm gonna say here else what? Else then I'm gonna do some work, because then I have to calculate the factorial. So I will use a for loop for int I equals 0, I is less than or equal to num I plus plus. What I do is in a for loop is I say fact this thing. So I need to put in this something is equal to 1, because I'm gonna multiply with it. So if I multiply with it, it will have a junk values, because local variables need to be initialized before used. So they need to be initialized. So I have to initialize it with the 1, because I cannot initialize it with the 0, because 0 multiplied with anything is 0. So I have to multiply it with 1. 1 multiplied with anything is that thing. That means it will not have an effect. So fact into is equals I. This is what I'm going to do in a for loop. Because I'm saying for I is equal to 0, should I say 0? Oh no, I should say from the 1. Okay, from the 1, because what is a factorial is if we have, for example, 4. So factorial means actually I have to multiply 4 with the 3, then this with the 2, multiply this with the 2, sorry, okay, and this multiply with the 1. So this is actually what my factorial is all about. 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 if my num is 4. So if my num is 4, I have to run a loop from 1 up to the number and start multiplying these guys together. That means, so I have put in a fact first 1, so it will be 1 into I. This time the I value is 1, so it will multiply 1 with the 1 and store it with the fact. Fact into is equal means fact is equal to fact into I. So what is in a fact, that will be there, but it will be multiplied further on. So that's 1 into 1 is equal to 1. Now 1 into 2 is equal to, then 2 into 3 is equal to how much? 6. And then 6 into 4, because what is in a fact, multiply that with the next. So do not just put this thing here, but multiply it what it is there and store it in the fact. That's what this piece of line is doing. So then 6 and 4 is 24, so fact will have 24 because up to the num, because 4, so loop will run up to the num if I have put the 4. If I put the 6, then I have multiplied again with the 5, then multiply again with the 6, and so on. So let me just clear it now and go down. Then this is my else part is not completed. Before I will, at the end, I will just output system dot out dot print ln. Let's print with the line. What else? Factorial of, okay, then I will say double quotes, concatenate with the num, concatenate with is equals, concatenate with the fact which has actual value, okay, and then I will close my else here. So, and then I need two more braces. One is for the close of the main program, and one is the close of the, you know, is it there? Oh, that's already there. So that's it. So what we have done is we have a class called Factorial, and then public static, this is an error here, static void main string out simple. I created two variables, fact and num. Then I created an object of the scanner class, okay, is called new scanner, and system.in, I'm inputting system.in means the default keyboard passing to the scanner class, and the scanner class will then wait for the input from the keyboard, and IP will have a handle of this. So this IP is an object. So using that IP, I will then get an integer value from the keyboard and put it into the num, and then I'm gonna check that if this num is less than 0, then or equals 0, then my output shouldn't be there. But if it is more than 0, then I will use this loop to find the factorial. Okay. So I think that's it. So let us now run it. But before I run it, I'm gonna save it, and you know, to save it, we need to create a same file name, same name like Factorial. I have created the file name factorial.java. Double quotes I put in so that my notepad will not put its .text with it. Okay, and I'll save it. I go to the command prompt to run it. Okay, and to run it, I have to use, first I have to compile it, java c fscap, okay, factorial.java, and it's having one error somewhere. Okay, let me see what's the error. We have forgot here the terminator. Okay, now save it, Control S, go to your command prompt, compile it again. I don't think it will have an error, but still having error there. Maybe this is creating the error because is into is equal. I'll put on stays there. Okay, save it, compile it. Now run it. It's time to run. So for running, we say Java and file name Factorial, the main package name. So enter the numbers. So for example, I said 4. So the factorial of 4 is 24. So even if you say, for example, again run it, say something like -2, it's going to say factorial is not defined. And if we say like some big number, 24, is going to give it's a big. Now what happens here is, why is this given is given a negative? that I wanna that's why I give deliberately this number, because this will be now out of bounds of the int variable, because fact I have created of type int, is it? So it's over the values of the fact. So we need to create some big data types to capture big values. So anyways, that's all for this fact, and I hope this first program will give you a little bit of kick in Java programming. So stay tuned for my next video on some next program. So see you until then, and keep smiling.